Welcome to GBA TV, home of the Girls Basketball Association, GBA Facebook Live, and the GBA Podcast. In the game since 2003. Now let's join the guys live.
All right, guys, welcome in GBA Studio. It's Wednesday, December 26, 2018, podcast number 3, I believe. We're going to talk a little GBA 2018, just recap a little bit. We also have a special guest coming in the studio, Angelo with the Ohio Xtreme Basketball Club. So, guys, welcome in the studio.
Hey, and it's always nice to get that one extra Christmas gift you wasn't expecting the day after Christmas, and that'll be Jamie. And speaking of Christmas, guys, I hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas, and to everyone out there listening as well, it's hard to believe 2018 is nearly over.
It's crazy. It was we've been working on 2019 for the last 6 months trying to get it all together, so it's finally came together. But the full schedule will be up on the website here very soon, with our complete listing of tournaments. But yeah, it was a great year, one of the best years of GBA. Was last year or this year, the 2018 season, and really went well. Added several big tournaments. We got some other bigger tournaments for 2019, so we're ready to, get the ball rolling and get out here in March and start playing.
And fellas, during the holiday season, it's always special to look back and, count your blessings. And before we look at 2019, let's look back at 2018. The GBA was definitely blessed with a lot of the tournaments that we count on year after year, but plus we added some special ones as well.
Hey, how could we not mention the other guest in the house? The first podcast appearance of the court specialist. What do you call him, Tommy?
The most electrifying big man that ever come out of Cambridge, Ohio.
I promise you, the GBA people all know this guy. He's been around since we started. So Dave Hoggy Holdren is in the house.
Well, I'm just glad that you and I are finally together on camera and stuff, so everybody will know that I am not Jeff Ferguson. I've been accused of that many times over the years.
I kind of tried to hide in the background. So
well, we see the resemblance, so we understand.
Yeah. No more hiding, that's for sure. Yeah, we talk about 2018, some of our biggest events, and, we have to first look at our foundation games. Our Lauren Hill Classic down in Cincinnati, over 135 teams. We held 2 events for the Pat Summitt Foundation down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and also in Columbus, Ohio, raising over $11,000 for them. And then the Jimmy V Classic, which last year was in Dayton, Ohio, over 60 teams sold out, and now this year coming back for the second annual, which will be in Cincinnati. So those are some of our big events. It kind of makes us proud here at GBA to be able to host tournaments for those foundations and raise money for a great cause.
And guys, when you look at 2018, Jeff, while we were in Columbus for the national championship game, you and John, even though we were not started the 2018 season, really got into full swing yet. We're just getting rolling. You guys were already really sealing a big one for 2019, and that was a special addition to the GBA family for 2019.
Oh, yeah, that was, we had talked to Katie Smith for a long time, just trying to work something out and get her on board and with what we want to do. And to have her come on board with the chance meeting we seen and talked, and, a couple months later we got it done, and we'll be hosting our first annual GBA Katie Smith Classic in in Columbus, April 13th and 14th weekend. So so that'll be great before she takes off and goes to her WNBA season coaching. She's a coach
New York Liberty.
New York Liberty now. So to have her come in and speak to the kids on Saturday night, stop games, and let her talk to the parents, the coaches, is going to be a big event. So we're excited about that.
And John, anytime you can add someone and just say Hall of Famer, that's pretty special as well.
Yeah, for sure. And we're not just talking, Ohio Hall of Fame or anything. She is Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. That's the elite of the elites right there. And you can't talk about basketball, whether it's men's or women's in the state of Ohio, without without knowing Katie Smith or mentioning Katie Smith. I mean, Dave, legend of the game, right?
Yeah, at Logan High School.
That's right.
You're the oldest here, so you probably.
Yeah, I remember. I think she was probably playing high school ball either when I was or shortly after. But I believe the gymnasium there is named after her at Logan. And
I believe so, yeah.
yeah.
And guys, when I look at 2018, one of my more enjoyable weekends was when the GBA decided, hey, let's go back and start and honor a couple of players who have really meant not only something to the GBA, but to the sport of women's basketball. And when you look at 2018, our first inductees into the Legends Hall of Fame, I don't know if we could have picked two better ones than the two we did.
Yeah, that was a great new addition we did, and of course, Brandy's been playing forever, and also helps us out here at the GBA. So we're excited that she'll be working more, with us on the weekends, doing the court monitors and all that stuff. Yeah, and then Amber Gray is another one that was just an outstanding player, and what she's going on to do now and what she's been through, and now going on and expanding her business and doing training and I think it's Where To Next is what she has.
Yep.
And it's some of the things that she's doing as well. I know she works with a lot of Cincinnati Swish kids in Cincinnati there for some training and stuff. So it's great to see them continuing in the sport and giving back and doing something that they love.
Yeah, and I believe Brandy still does she's doing a little bit of training and stuff, and might even be working with Amber a little bit there. But two great inductees the first year. Amber she started her career at Tennessee and then ended up at Xavier, and then Brandy was a great all-conference player at Ohio State.
And then then you look at 2018, really the first year we decided throughout tournaments, interviewing players and coaches before games, after games, and even broadcasting some games as well. So I tell you, the GBA really took it to another level in 2018, and it's scary to see what's going to happen in 2019, but exciting.
Yeah, hey, I just want to chime in on what Tommy was saying there. I think that the interviews and everything's been a great addition and well received by coaches and the players. I know the girls seem to have a really good time, have fun with it and everything. And that's when we added Caleb, to the mix with this. He brought all the video stuff and the interviews and everything that we didn't have the capability somehow to do, but he's been a great addition also. But I really like it's fun just sometimes to sit back and watch the interviews, because the girls do have a good time with it.
Oh, it's fun to see the look on their face. It's just like the post game interviews are the best. They just played their game, they're coming off the court and they go right to the table and sit down. Their name's up on the screen and they're answering questions. So it's been great. Caleb's been great addition to the GBA, and it's all thanks to Jeff and his vision of what he wants to do and continue doing with GBA.
And you talk about the players. Hey, let's not forget how much fun the coaches enjoy the opportunity to be interviewed as well. And it's nice for all the hours and the work that they put in to their programs in the GBA. It's nice to give the coaches an opportunity to get in front of the cameras as well.
Yeah, and I think it's good for them to have an opportunity sometimes, to talk about individually about their players and their teams and things that, before we did this, that, teams came in and played and they left, and that was basically it. We may say, hey, come watch this girl on court 3, she's pretty good or something. And now we're able a little bit more to put names with the faces, and for down the line, if somebody's interested in maybe a girl who possibly might play at the next level or something, it gets their name out there through this venue, and I like that aspect of it as well.
Sure, and it's led us right into where we are today, into the GBA studios. So now we've expanded a little bit more on that, and we're getting guests coming in. We're with the Skype, and I know the first of the year, talking to a lot of the coaches, we're going to start having Skype interviews coming in as tryouts and things get going. So it's just been a great addition, and like I said, Jeff and his vision for GBA and where it is, where it's come from, and where it's going is unbelievable.
Yeah, and I think we're just hitting the tip of the things. I mean, there's so many more things that we can add and do and venture out. It's just getting enough people to do it. When we start this, it's basically family, friends, and coaches, and that's part of the fun. And as it continues to grow and we meet so many good people, and the coaches and the programs that continue and the parents that support our program and let us continue doing what we do, it's an honor for us to be able to do that. So we take it very serious when we put on these events and want to make sure that we put on a good quality event, and so basically you get what you pay for. And I think that and that's one of the things that we strive to do, and I think that's I take pride in that, in our staff and doing things. So we're adding staff as we go, but we don't want to get too big too fast and not have enough staff, because every tournament we go to, we want it to be the same. So, but what a great 2018, and even 18 years of doing this. I mean, I'm sure we could sit around and talk about, when we first started running at the Armory in Cambridge, Ohio, with 4 or 5, 6 teams, to where it is now. Over the years, we've had a lot of good memories of traveling with the staff and the vans and putting on these great events at colleges and universities and rec centers and high schools, and it's been a fun ride. We're not done yet, but it's been a fun ride, and we continue to grow.
For sure, and I think that needs to be another edition we're going to tape here, in coming weeks is kind of the growth of GBA over the years and where we're at. But guys, let's take a little break now. I believe our guest has arrived, and we're going to be back in the studio here. The guys are going to be talking Jamie Angelo, Ohio Xtreme Basketball Club.
Welcome back to our GBA podcast. And fellas, one of the great things and perks with working with the GBA over the years is the friendships that we build with the quality people and the programs that play with the GBA. And speaking of high quality, we're truly honored to be joined by the Ohio Xtremes program main man, Jamie Angelo. And Jamie, a belated Merry Christmas to you and the family, and thanks for joining us here on the podcast.
Thanks for having me down. Appreciate it.
Okay, Jamie, a lot of people out there are very familiar with the Ohio Xtreme, but then I'm sure there's some that are not. So just tell us a little bit about the Ohio Xtreme.
Well, we're an all-girls basketball program. We're out of the Akron, Ohio area. We've been doing this since 2006. We have 12 teams. Pretty much we try to do 2 teams per age group all the way through.
All right, and Jamie, you kind of have some pretty good help with the Xtreme. Your wife is also very involved.
Yeah, she's extremely involved. That's Julie Angelo. Obviously, she's my wife. We built this together in 2006. It was more her idea than mine. She saw a need for kids to have the opportunity to play in the off season, outside of school season, and develop skills and fundamentals. And that's what she wanted to do. So this whole model is basically hers.
All right, and Jamie, the one thing when you look at the Xtreme, I know you teach a lot of fundamentals of basketball skills, but it seems like y'all are much more than that when it involves teaching the kids other things.
Yeah, I think everybody talks about it, but we actually have a family environment. All of our kids throughout the entire program know each other. All of our coaches know all of our kids. All of our families know and support each other. And we really try to drive that home as we are a family. Everything we do is for each other, whether it's on the court or off the court. Because it's a game. It's basketball. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun. You want the kids to improve and get better, but you also want them to have a smile on their face. So we do our best to do that.
And I think it's pretty obvious when you look on social media and you see some of your stuff that you have that, your wife is traveling every day, going to the games, watching the kids play, following their their regular seasons, and kind of keeping an eye on, and then also with your get-togethers off, regular spring season, that you guys stay in touch and follow your players and all that. How many players is probably in the program?
Probably just about 110. And we do keep tabs on them, whether they're playing other sports, softball, volleyball. We try to support them every way we can because we truly care about our kids. It's not, again, just about basketball. It's not just about going to tournaments and participating. It's just about helping these kids become, better people and help them with their goals, whether it's to go on and play in college or just go to college. We want to help them in every way we can.
And you have the chance to stay and just play local at some tournaments, but you venture out, go to our Cincinnati tournaments, go to some of our Columbus tournaments, and then what are some of the other things that you do, and where all do you go to play?
Well, we basically try to sort out good events. I want it to be memorable for the kids. So, you can go any weekend, you can go to any school, any gym, and play in a tournament. But we look for events. We look for like the Laurel Hill Classics. We look for the Pat Summits, something that's doing good. But as we travel, we'll do the USJN circuit is what we do on the exposure side of things. We've been doing that for 5 years now, and it's worked out pretty good. So we'll travel all over the country, with our exposure type team. So the high school age groups.
And that's getting the kids of that level a chance to be seen by college coaches. And that's another important, very important thing to try to do, especially for, ninth grade and probably up, is get them seen by as many college coaches and help them get the scholarships, that they can do. So, and I know that's something that we don't advertise in the GBA, but we do get a lot of D2 and D3 coaches coming at different events of our tournaments, but sometimes they, the D2 and D1 coaches can't come out. So, for the Laurel Hill event this year with, with some help, and, we're going to make it a D1 place, but it's great. I think that you take them all over. And where are those tournaments at?
Chicago, Washington, D.C., Georgia, they're all over the country. But we pick and choose what's going to be better for our kids. We stay in contact with college coaches about our kids. So it's not like you just go to these events and hope you get seen, because it's not the way it works. You really need to go out there, basically sell your kids, lack for a better term. But you have to reach out to colleges, let them know you have girls, in certain age groups or grades, graduation classes, and ones that are wanting to play in college and see where their need is, and keep that conversation and dialogue going, and the coaches will get our schedule and they'll let us know when they're coming.
That's another aspect of this whole thing with the spring basketball and the off-season basketball is, the large percentage, if not nearly all of these girls, they've never been recruited by any colleges before. And, the fact that there are people like you and your wife and the coaches and leaders of the other programs that play with the GBA and other tournaments as well that will have the interest of the girls and make the connections and have relationships with college coaches. It can kind of help foster the relationship between the girls playing for you and college coaches, and then they know, they kind of know that, hey, Jamie's got some girls. He's, you got to be truthful with them if they think you can play and stuff, and you get a good, like I said, a trusting relationship built, and I think that makes it easier for the college coaches also, that they can, have a relationship with you, pick up a phone and say, hey, what do you have coming up along the lines or something. But I know as far as being recruited, how many people have been recruited until you get recruited.
Right.
So they may not know kind of, what do I need to know as a young lady getting a letter in the mail, a questionnaire, what do I need to do with that now? Do I just fill it out and send it in? Should I pester them, call them, send back, hey, send them a thank you card, just to stay in touch with them. So, that's another thing that you, as well as the other coaches, I'm sure can help lead the girls down that road.
Yeah, and it's really important because, like you said, girls don't understand. They get these letters. The parents like, oh, wow, my kid's being recruited by Ohio State.
Yeah.
You know, when maybe they were just invited to a camp. But it's good though that have that experience, and you know that you want the girls to reach back out to the coaches.
Yeah.
You know, and then if there is mutual interest, you know, then that'll create the dialogue. But the coaches also want to see that the girls do have that drive. You know, they want to, kind of take that by the reins and go. And, but, you know, it's not a knock on any kid if you don't get recruited by a certain school. You got to remember schools are looking for certain things for their program. You know, so you may have the best, feel like you have the best kids on your AAU team, and every school should want these. But if they don't fill a need for that school, you know, so you have to go and find and help put these kids in position to be seen by the schools that need their skill sets.
Right. Yeah, and you know, you may have the top point guard in your area of Ohio or something. You know, why isn't the University of Akron looking at this girl? She's a home area girl, you know. Yeah. Well, maybe they just signed a great point guard the year before.
Right.
You know, and it's based on their needs as well. So.
Yeah, it's fun. It's amazing. It's a whole process. It's not just picking those kids up and taking them to play some spring tournaments. I mean, you actually, and I think that's why you know our program's we don't have any teams now. You know, we run tournaments, but it's the same concept. I mean, we're a family thing, and we try to help all these programs if we can. And just like you're helping your kids decide where to go, give them the opportunities and kind of guide them along the way and let them choose what they want. At least help them along the way, you know, with their parents and with the support of everything. And that's to be commended for what you do and follow them all year round. You know, and like I said, I've seen so many. I don't know how your wife does it. Goes to all the games, and she's around there talking to the kids, and you see all the pictures, and it's awesome. But it's also a lot of time. It's a lot of time away from your family and your kids. So it's to be commended to do that, and I think that's why we have a great relationship.
Oh, absolutely. And Jamie, if I'm a parent and I have a daughter in the Akron area, and I think, hey, my girl's got some potential. And maybe she can help out the Xtreme, but the Xtreme can benefit her as well. You don't have tryouts. So if I'm looking at maybe getting involved with the Ohio Xtreme basketball program, what information or where can I go online to get information about what you're all about?
Yeah, typically you start with our website, ohioxtremebasketball.com. There's no E in front of the X in Xtreme. Common mistake. People misspell it. But what we do is we'll have folks that may be interested fill out an evaluation form. And what that does is it gives us the opportunity to come out and see a player play in their school environment. And then we're almost like a college where we're looking for pieces that fill a certain need for us. So, I mean, it could be a great point guard, a great player, but we already have two. So we want to put that kid in the best position, and we'll be honest, wow, yeah, she definitely has the skill set to play for us, but I don't see her meshing well on this team, because you can recruit 10 great players and, have all these big names on a team, but if they don't work well together or have the opportunity to play for each other, you're third off the bench, at a certain position, it doesn't help that kid at all. So we really want to put the kid in a position that they're going to be able to play and grow. So we're very selective on who we bring into the program.
Hey, Jamie, you talk about the expectations for the players and stuff. Your program also seems to have high expectations of the parents of the kids as well.
Yeah, we really kind of drive that home again. We're a big family, and everybody's representation of the family. So when we go and travel, we want all the parents to be supportive of each other, of the coaches, and we do get that. I mean, we are so fortunate to have great people in our program. They really do care and love the kids. When Julie's out there, taking pictures with the girls and posting it, the other parents, they want to know, how's that kid doing? How's her team doing? And it's genuine. It's very genuine.
And can you plug the website again?
It's ohioxtremebasketball.com. Again, no E in front of the X.
Yes, that's Xtreme. Jeff, impressed with my spelling?
Absolutely, for sure, Tommy. Tell us, what grade levels do you go down to?
Typically, we start in 4th grade and go up. We do always have a few 3rd graders, but we'll put on the 4th grade team. Then the following years, the following year, we'll take those third graders that are now fourth and build a team around that.
Gotcha.
It's just there's not a lot of good tournaments for that young of teams. So we can't have, we're not going to go third grade if there's nowhere for them to play.
Right now, tell us a couple questions here. Tell us a little bit about the coaches that you have, the coaching staff that you have, and that's a big key, and it's hard to find good quality coaches. Tell us about that, and then also your practices, what you do at practice. And I believe you have some trainers come in, some different things that you work with, some of the other programs don't do. So fill us in and kind of like what you do, what's your typical season like, games, how many tournaments, and then what do they do practice-wise, your coaches, how they become a coach, and then about any training and stuff like that you guys offer.
We're a very unique program. We all practice at the same facility. Our coaches work with everyone, not just the team they're assigned. And I think that brings a whole another aspect to it, because a lot of times with AAU, you get assigned a coach, that's your coach, you get their expertise, and you go with it. But with us, everybody brings something different to the table, so why shouldn't all of our kids be able to experience that and benefit from it? I mean, we have it right there. So we have all of our coaches working with all of our kids. We bring in a group of trainers led by Alicia Manning, former Tennessee All-American, and she works with a lot of our kids, all of our kids. And our practices are really 45 minutes of skill and fundamental development. We don't get a lot into the team aspect, especially in the first month of practice. But the latter part of that particular practice, we'll do team, start running plays, things like that. But for the most part, it's about skill and fundamental development. Nothing that we do play-wise is going to translate to their high school team, so why waste their time? We just want to make them better players, and we work a lot with the high school coaches too. Hey, I need my kid to develop this for our program. This would help us tremendously, so that's what we try to do, incorporate that in.
And can you touch on the Xtreme event you have at the end of March?
Sure. Yeah. We're having the Xtreme Challenge, which is at University of Mount Union, which is an incredible
awesome facility. 6
Yeah.
courts. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, all under one roof. Amazing staff there. The girls basketball team there, they help out tremendously, and their coach there is amazing. But yeah, it's a great event. We always have good competition, a variety of teams that you don't typically see in Northeast Ohio. Get to play in the same tournament. We have so many teams up in our area. It's hard to get away from that, so you're not playing the same group every weekend. So it's a really, really good event, and it's always visited by D2, D3 coaches. We usually get a pretty good sign of support from them, and a lot of our kids have gotten seen in our own tournament as well. So,
they could go to our website, which is gbabasketball.com, to register for that, or they could go to your site as well.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And how many teams usually get for that? Just depends. And you've been doing it several years, right?
Yeah. At the height, we were at 130 teams, which was all girls. But again, it's getting more competitive. There's 8 tournaments in a 50-mile radius anymore. But we'd like to keep it around 70. 70 teams would be a good spot, because we don't want to keep the kids playing there all day either. We'd like to get them a schedule where they can come in, get their games, and then go on. There's other things outside of basketball. It stinks if you're stuck in a gym all day long. So we take that into account when we're scheduling, especially the out-of-town teams. We schedule them in a way that they can go out and do some team bonding, go out to team dinners and things like that. So about 70 teams would be perfect.
Well, I know we visited, the campus there, and it's a beautiful campus. Plenty of stuff to do around there. Canton's really close. Akron's close. 6 courts all in one place. It's just very similar to Capital, Otterbein, some of the tournaments that we run in Columbus. So anybody listening that's looking for a different tournament, and probably to play a lot different teams from the GBA could definitely could make the trip if that's one of their road tournaments or whatever they want to, travel tournaments, whatever you want to call it. But they should check that out, because it's good competition and a lot of different teams that maybe you wouldn't see playing in an awesome facility. So,
yep, that's always been my goal, is to really not play the same team twice in a season, unless it was a great game. But other than that, you just want to see different variety. So that's what we try to do.
And Jamie, we talked earlier in the podcast about 2018, how great it was for the GBA. We seen some of your teams at the Nationals to close out the season, and judging by the way your teams performed at the Nationals, seemed like 2018 was very good to the Ohio Xtreme as well.
Yeah, the girls worked really hard, and it's just they want to be good. They want to be the best, and when they come and play, wherever they play well. And they'll build off it for next year. Nationals are always a great event. A lot of teams from all over, a lot of great competition, and our families love it. I mean, they just love to end the season on that. And with the younger teams, the older teams, they have to play until July anymore with the exposure stuff. But for the younger teams, we usually end our season on that, and it's just it's a great way to finish a good season.
Well, once again, we'd like to thank Jamie Angelo from Ohio Xtreme for coming in and joining us on our GBA podcast, and be sure to give the wife a hug for us. She's a lot of fun, and actually she was our first choice, Jamie. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but
always.
Yeah, she's very passionate about the game. She really loves the kids, and I think that's a big part of it. And you could tell that, and it overflows into what she does and follows, and how you guys follow, the families and the programs and the kids, and keep an eye on them, and I think that's awesome, and you guys do a great job, and you've been in the business a lot of years playing, just about as long as we have, and we appreciate the support of playing in some GBA tournaments, and we're excited for 2019 and more. So. Do you have anything else you need to plug while you're here?
No, nothing at all. Just want to tell you guys I really appreciate everything that GBA does. That does for our girls. Great events for anyone looking for unique events, well run, and different competition as well. You got to look at GBA.
We definitely appreciate it. We try to do it, and we've made some great relationships with you guys being one of them. And it's great to continue to work year by year and can build our programs together. So we definitely appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And Jamie, you, Julie, and the rest of the Xtreme family have a very happy New Year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We are at the Tennessee Legend Classic in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I'm Aaron with GBA TV, and we are joined by John Ferguson, director of the GBA. And John, man, what a weekend we got, man. Gatlinburg, teams everywhere, and so much going on.
Oh yeah, we're very excited to be down in Gatlinburg. We had 40 teams signed up for the first event, which is great for us. This is the furthest south that the GBA's ever been. So to get 40 teams and benefiting the Pat Summitt Foundation, it's a great experience for everybody.
And you guys have been doing it a while. You've been to a lot of different cities, a lot of different areas. There's something about Gatlinburg, though, that's getting people a little more excited. What's it like being down there? What do you feel is making this place special to maybe add to that experience?
It's a place that kind of feels like home. You know what I mean? Everyone's so friendly, great environment. There's things to do for every age, for mom and dad, for the kids, for everything. So it's just a great place to be. It gives that homebody feel, which the GBA, we feel like that's sort of our motto.
Talking with John Ferguson, director of the GBA at the Tennessee Legend Classic. John, what are some of the things, you've been out around the town, I've been out around the town, I've been running into teams everywhere. What are some of the things that the teams are doing in this pretty much a vacation destination? What are you seeing people get into?
Yeah, we everyone seems to be talking about food. Everyone's going to food and getting the barbecue and all that stuff, and then the kids are going into Pigeon Forge a little bit and doing some of the rides and things like that. So like I said earlier, it's just there's so many opportunities for kids to do, not only for the kids but also for the adults.
This is the first day of the tournament on Saturday, so teams are just now getting their feet wet, going through pool play. What's the competition been like? You see a lot of basketball. Well, how are the games been so far?
It's kind of been one of those typical Saturdays. You got this is where teams start to separate themselves a little bit as the day goes on. So there's been some very competitive games, and there's been some not competitive games. But that's overall, it's a good experience, and that's what you expect when you run an event, especially coming to a new area.
Now the GBA kind of set the precedent for charity tournaments. You guys have done such a great job of finding the right organization to help raise money for. It really started with the Laurel Hill Classic, which has become a huge event for the GBA, and now you've evolved into the Tennessee Legend Classic, benefiting the Pat Summitt Foundation, and even the Jimmy V Classic, benefiting the V Foundation. What do these tournaments mean to you guys? So now it's not just basketball anymore. Now you're starting to add these tournaments where you're really helping a lot of people.
Yeah, and like you said, the Lauryn Hill thing, and then with the Pat Summit, and obviously Pat Summit is, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing today if it wasn't for Pat Summit. I mean, she set the foundation for women's basketball, and it's evolved into what it is today. And the Jimmy V Foundation, with cancer research, and unfortunately cancer is such a, we've all know somebody or been affected with our family members that have been struggling with that disease. So those are great organizations, are great foundations, and that help raise money to try to cure that stuff.
It's just been a great weekend overall. Can't say enough about it. We have, like John said, about 40 teams here. Would love to have more. So hopefully next year everyone gets excited about Gatlinburg and we make this even bigger, because the location's perfect, the facilities are perfect, the people are perfect, the food is perfect.
Yes.
The entertainment is perfect. So this year's going great. We'll wrap up championship play on Sunday. But until then, start thinking about next year, because this might be a tournament you want to put down as one you want to participate in. John, it's always fun.
Yes, thanks, Aaron.
All right.
Okay.
See ya back on the court.
Welcome back to our GBA podcast, and as we get ready to say a farewell to 2018 and look forward to 2019, we're want to touch on the first annual GBA Tip-Off Classic, which will be March 16th and 17th. And Jeff, this is something new to the GBA.
Yeah, we just thought teams are always looking for something different and something to play when they're putting their teams together. So we thought we would give them the opportunity in March this year to maybe do a top, tip-off 100, trying to get 100 teams at $100. $100 entry fee, no trophies, guaranteed 2 games. We'll do several different brackets, give you guys some, the pool play, cross pool play, whatever we need to do to get you guys at least 2 games and maybe more, depending if we do for championships and everything. But we just thought it would be something kind of cool to bring to Columbus or to Cincinnati, and we had the option to do that, so we thought we would do that and just try to get some teams in. For $100, you can almost use it as a scrimmage, whatever you want to do to come in to see where you're at and kind of get ready to play. And I think it's something new that will take off, and it'll be really good for the teams to come in for a discount and come in to see where they're at to play.
Yeah, that's how when I first heard of it, that's what I kind of thought, the same thing as you mentioned, like a scrimmage thing. So right at the very beginning of your spring season and everything, for a very minimal fee, you bring your team in and kind of see what you got going, and not with not necessarily pressure of trying to win a tournament and everything like that, but just to get your team out there to play.
And how beneficial that is for the kids who are playing in the GBA for the first time, to kind of get their feet wet and just see the competition that you're going to face on a weekend basis with the GBA.
Yeah, I just think that it's a chance, and maybe you won't have your whole team yet, depending on if the older teams, that could be in the girls' state tournament weekend for Ohio. I'm not positive on that right here, and I don't have it in front of me, but it could be. But even if it's not, it was the week prior to. So maybe some of those kids aren't, maybe they won't have full teams. Maybe they got some other things going on, whatever they're doing. But I think it's a chance, and we've got when we put it out there, we got a really good response already. For the teams that want to do that and travel and come in and play a couple games, and just to kind of see where they are. Now it sounds like a scrimmage or whatever, but it's not. I mean, there's games, there's officials. It's a GBA tournament, but it's just 2 games instead of 3, and a lot less price, just to kind of give back to the teams that want to come in and play. And it'd be kind of cool, I think, to get 100 teams coming in March, to play in a tournament. What do you think? What do you think, Jamie?
That's a great idea, especially for the younger kids, because a lot of those kids that play community ball, they may be finished late February, so they're just sitting around waiting to play. So it's a nice opportunity to get kids together, even if you don't have your full teams, or maybe you have bits and pieces of 2 teams put together. But it gives you an idea of kind of what you have and what you have to work with, and it gives the kids a chance to get out and play.
And it was just kind of a thing we put together and thought we'll try it. March 15th, 16th, and 17th weekend, we're just going to try to keep it to Saturday, Sunday only. teams will come in and play your games, and you're not going to, if you're playing 2 games, you're not going to play one and then sit 5 or 6 hours and then play another one. We're going to get you in and out, where you play a couple games and you move on. And then we haven't quite put together everything. If we can get a couple sponsors, then we'll definitely do a tournament format as well with that. And, we'll see how it goes. At least the top team in each pool will play for the championship. And usually it's the top 2 teams move out from the pools. It may be the top team move out for the championship. We will do some sort of championship with that too. And I think it's a trend that that tournament will continue to grow and will sell out, and it will be a great event for the teams to come in to play it.
And again, when we say scrimmage like, we do mean scrimmage like, because most people, when they think of scrimmages, you put 18 minutes on the clock and it's a running clock. But this is a regulation game, so you get a chance to play 2 regulation games against other competition, and that early in the season, with the turnover and stuff that you have with your programs, it's really beneficial and can really jumpstart you into your GBA season.
I think scrimmage might have been the wrong word to use or something. More or less look at it maybe as a preseason type thing, where
showcase.
Like you said, a showcase early on, like, and as Jamie mentioned too, see what you have coming back, and like you may have to piece some teams together. I know softball, high school softball will probably be doing something by then as well on the weekends. So
we're always trying to add some different things and come up with some opportunities for the teams and do something different. So we thought we would put this together, give it a try, and we've got a really great response so far. So it will be, the March 15th through 17th weekend. Just sign up online, GBAbasketball.com, and get in and come in and play in our first annual Tip-Off 100.
And you definitely want to try to sign up early, because we're going to get to 100.
100 teams would be max.
Yes.
And if we're working on some more gyms and some other things, I'm going to see how entries come in. But yeah, so we'll do that. It'll be a lot easier when we only have to, guarantee 2 games instead of 3. But it's a chance for. I mean, if you think it out, 2 games for $100 is a pretty good deal, and a lot of the teams may get 3 games or more. So.
All right, a great idea, and we look forward to the first annual GBA Tip-Off 100 Classic, and that's March 16th and 17th. Be sure to visit GBAbasketball.com for more details to come.
Cincinnati, Ohio is the host to our 18th annual GBA Nationals and has a new format coming in 2019. The 2019 GBA Nationals will now be a 3-day event with Kings Island discounts available all 3 days. Games will start Friday morning and conclude Sunday afternoon with the crowning of our 2019 GBA National Champions. This tournament draws participating teams from multiple states and has averaged 115 teams annually. Visit our website at www.gbabasketball.com for a complete listing of 2019 events.
All right, welcome back to GBA Studios, and today we're going to talk a little Jimmy V Classic. Second annual Jimmy V Classic coming back April 6th through the 7th, but we have a little twist this year. Guys, the location last year was in Dayton. Now this year we're Cincinnati, Ohio, down at the Friars Club, all courts in one location. Should be another great event there.
Trying to move it around a little bit. The Friars Club, which is an awesome facility. We sold out last year for the Jimmy V Classic in Dayton, and I think we had over 60 teams and shut out probably about 10 days early. And this year now we're moving it to Cincinnati the same weekend, April 6th and 7th in Cincinnati, so sign up early. But yeah, it's a great honor for us to host the Jimmy V Classic, and we're excited to be in Cincinnati with that.
And it's great when the GBA family gets together. When you have a thing like the Jimmy V Classic, you can count on the GBA Nation to rally together and come out for a great weekend of basketball, but to show their support for such a fine thing that they're sponsoring there.
Yeah, absolutely, Tommy. And, last year was our first annual event, and, like you said, GBA Nation showed up, sold that event out 10 days early, one of many events that was sold out early, and over 60 teams last year.
Yeah, Dave. And how was the reception when you was in the Carolinas?
Yeah, I did. And this was before, he became ill with cancer, and he spoke at a Nike coaches clinic in Charlotte one weekend, and I ran into him out in the lobby and talked with him a little bit. And like I said, he when he became ill, I was living in South Carolina at the time, and a lot, Tobacco Road and the ACC in that area and everything. So it was kind of close to a lot of people down there, and there's excuse me, ACC fans, and they all kind of felt the impact from that.
And everyone remembers that memorable run. NC State made in the tournament on to win a national championship. I believe 1983, four, I think. 83, 84. Yeah. So that was kind of like that was a crazy run that they had there. They were barely got into the tournament, I believe, and then made a good run. And everyone always remembers that. Every year you see that scene with Jimmy V running on the court looking for somebody to hug. And so, it's a great honor for GBA to be able to host something in his honor and to be able to raise some money for their foundation. And it's one of many great events that we're able to host for groups and foundations, with the Pat Summitt Foundation and the Laurel Hill Classic. So it's a great honor for us, and GBA Nation stepped up last year, over 60 teams, and sold out 10 days early.
And I'm glad you mentioned his coaching exploits, because the Wolfpack, that magical run, they were so close to being eliminated in about 3 or 4 games on that run, and then beating a Houston team. No one gave them a chance. But then a lot of people remember he joins ESPN and Dick Vitale as a college basketball analyst, and that's when a lot of people maybe out there remember him from. And then when he got diagnosed with cancer, no one will ever forget the speech he gave at the ESPYs. And if you haven't ever seen that speech, just go to YouTube and look up Jim Valvano's Never Give Up speech. It's one of the more inspiring and uplifting speeches you'll ever see.
Yeah, and ESPN airs that several times during the year also. You can catch it on there. And I know each year when they do the V Foundation, the ESPN has a great sports system with the Jimmy V Classic, and they raise hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. I'm sure they do auctions and such things like that every year, but they play they'll put it on for it's a 15-minute video of his speech. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely cannot deny his passion for the game, and then for his fight as he as he carried on, and it's an honor for us to be able to host the event and sell out the first event like we did, and then continue it in Cincinnati this year. So once again, it'll be April 6th and 7th at the Friars Club. All courts in one location. We're not going to add any courts at this time. There's no other courts available in the area, so we're going to be stuck with that. So we're going to be maxed out at 50 or 60 teams again for this year. So definitely sign up early and get in for that one, because that's going to be a really good event.
And fellas, what makes that so neat is when you talk about cancer, it's the one disease that everybody walking the planet can relate to, because everybody out there has a loved one or themselves that have had cancer or lost someone to this horrible disease. So cancer is something that affects everybody out there and touches every life. So, we continue to help, any way we can with the GBA in finding a cure for this horrible disease. And we pray that one day, this world can be cancer-free.
Yep. Well, guys, appreciate you joining us in studio talking to the Jimmy V Classic. Again, GBA Nation, that event, the second annual Jimmy V Classic, April 6th and 7th, Cincinnati, Ohio, Friars Club. More information on the website, gbabasketball.com.